I thought it was never going to happen. That's what I said. That's what I said to the vicar. Hello, folks, and welcome to Friday. And that means Wow Ergonomics. It's also because I love to wear the badge as well. It's also Children in Need Day. So if you haven't gotten out and got your pudsey ears and or your pudsey t-shirt and you haven't supported Children in Need yet today, please do. Be well worth it. I was talking on that side of things as well. I was talking today, earlier this morning, to somebody who's kind of affected by children in need. So I was talking to LX, who's married to one of the presenters who does Children in Need every year on the TV. She said it's chaos in their house today. She's meant to be at home doing, I don't think she'll mind me saying this, she's meant to be at home filming some videos for her business, and their son is like causing chaos around the house. They, like all people in the world these days, they're struggling to get any help with childcare, and of course Addie is in Manchester filming Children in Need. So while she loves Children in Need, she's pulling her hair out a little bit. Bless her. But yeah, they're having a. You can follow them on Instagram. They're called Adept Fam. There you go, Adept Fam.
We can't read if we were meant to read what was on your phone.
Sorry, it's ADEPIFAM. Please go and follow them on Instagram. It's they're wonderful people. And it's lovely to hear about them. I've had a bit of a week. My father had a mini stroke this week.
Okay.
So
how is he now?
He's back home. I went and got him from hospital last night. So
good.
Yeah, but that was all a bit of a shock. Fortunately, very fortunately, and here, this is one for all of you older folk out there. Just think about that. If you know you're starting to feel a bit under the weather, etc., just think about whether you're driving or not. Fortunately, he literally just got out the car when it happened.
And do they know possibly what maybe brought it on? Is there any indication what could have?
So all they know is that he's got an arrhythmic heartbeat, which I think is quite common for old age as well. And they think that it was a small clot around the heart somewhere that had travelled up. That's all they know.
But he's back home, feet up, resting up.
Back home, feet up. Yes, resting now. Thank you for that. Today we're going to talk about funnels. Do you know much about funnels?
Only the ones where you're trying to pour something into something that's smaller, and you have these plastic like 50p things from a DIY shop, and you see,
which is what I put in the preamble of this this thing. So this might be quite interesting to a lot of you out there. There may be a number of companies that we talk to on a regular basis or deal with on a regular basis. You want to get closer to your clients. You want to understand and communicate better with them, and you may think you're using funnels, or you may have some funnels set up. You may not even be aware that they are funnels, and actually some of those funnels you might be doing too much of the work yourself. And so we will talk probably a bit about automation, and you may be finding that there are quite a few gaps in your funnels, which is why, you know what happens when you put holes in a funnel, don't you?
It just goes everywhere.
It goes everywhere, and it doesn't go where the desired output doesn't go where you want it to go. And so our guest today, Kate, knows all about funnels. In fact, she even ran an event to do with funnels. So we'll bring her in to talk to her about
when
that.
You said that, I thought like she'd done like the London Marathon dressed as a funnel. I thought that when you said that, I was thinking, really?
That's next year. That's next year.
Yes, of course it is. Yes, Glenn.
It's funny, isn't it funny? Kate, thanks for joining us. Do say a little bit about who you are first, and then let's talk about funnels, because it's interesting. But I think people, it's a bit like ergonomics. People that know. People that don't know.
Yeah. And that goes for a lot as well. Pretty much everything. And
everything in life.
Yeah. So I am, I'm an ADHD entrepreneur, darlings. Coin a new phrase and trends and all this sort of thing. No, I absolutely love techie stuff, and I love also customer journeys, right? So combining the two for me was a no-brainer, because that's what it's all about in business. It's about customer journeys. And I just want to point out, I know, what do? I always struggle with these questions, because here's something right now. What do? I can only think about what do I do at the moment in the last couple of days. Then ask me again in 3 months and it'll be something completely different. It doesn't mean to say I'm doing different things in my business. It's just that my brain suddenly goes, oh, what am I doing? And it's existential question here. Oh, distraction. So yeah, I basically help take businesses from here over to, well, as far as you want to go, really, by setting up all the things behind the scenes that they need. So techie stuff, strategy, business stuff, all the things all combined. And what I discovered over the years is that people who tend to be attracted to me, well, not literally attracted, obviously, but attracted to me are people who have a neurodivergent brain themselves, or perhaps they just are, in a place where things just aren't making sense. So there we go. Yeah, that's a bit about what I do. As far as customer journeys go, if you think about, one thing I want to say about funnels, right, is that think about messaging and branding in your business, right? Everyone goes, oh, messaging, oh, branding, I am your brand. No, you're not. Yes, you are. The business is the brand, whatever it is. Like, things stick, yeah? The word funnels, right, that was coined by, Russell Brunson started doing click funnels. The word funnels was a marketing word that is now stuck, and we all now use it. Now I know there are other vacuum cleaners around, but I still always call mine the Hoover, because that's what I was brought up with. So you see how important it is anyway, and that's just as important within your customer journey. So it's about customer journeys. You don't, people go, oh, funnels, and they suddenly freeze. It's that, and just think of it like this: is the experience people have when they come into your world, is it leading to sales? Full stop. Because as much as you want to raise awareness and make connections, if you don't have the sales, then you don't have the business. I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely true. So let's kind of just break that down in terms of some of the techie stuff. As I was saying at the beginning, for a lot of businesses, they are trying to do too much, I believe, of the bits in the middle of the funnel themselves, right? And quite often they're trying to do, or they're trying to keep a lot of it in their head, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in other words, like, and I expect most salespeople out there will have experienced this. Stephen, hands up, right? Okay, as we go through this, but somebody contacts you on a Monday and they go, yeah, oh, I'm really quite interested in what you do. So actually, perhaps we could have more of an exploratory meeting to talk about this and see whether there's some, here's a dirty word, synergy between us and you in business or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Look at the face when no one likes the word rolling. No one likes the word synergy anymore. All right. But they say that and you go, right, okay. And then they say, so can we pick a date for this to happen? And you go, okay. And then somehow you have a diary system, and it might be a paper-based diary, or it might be an online diary or whatever. And then and they go, well, actually I can't I don't know what my diary's like at the moment, so I can't necessarily do that. Could you remind me in a week or so or whatever? And then so you've then got to try and remember that, and then you set up the diary date. Then you have that meeting with them, and they go, yeah, great. I definitely think there's something here. So it'd be really useful if I could just get some more information. By which now you just think, well, yeah, but I've just told you everything and whatever. Yeah. But they'd like some more information, and then you're thinking, okay, I'll put that on my to-do list that I've got to send them some more information, etc. And then you get on with something else, and then, you know, a couple of days later you think, oh yes, I've got to send them some more information about this. People are getting the gist now, right? We carry a lot of information about kind of interactions with people in our heads as business owners a lot of the time, all day long, right? And actually, whilst it may not be the perfect tailored approach, right, we can do a lot of that all in automation these days, can we not, Kate? And actually, we can make it feel more tailored, right, by just adding a few little bits and pieces in that as we get to know people, we can glean a bit of data and add that into our language and our narrative in those automations, which makes people feel like it is personal to them, even if it's not entirely personal to them. Want to say a bit of that?
Yeah, 100%. Because quite frankly, that journey you've just described, I've already gone and found somebody else, to be honest, to go and work with.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And that's what a lot of people are missing, that we may, when we have an idea, well, if you're sitting in your business, you think, oh my gosh, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. You see, you know, an amazing podcast, you know, you see a post, you hear something, think, that's what I need. That's exactly what I need. And so you go and you find out about it. You ask someone about it. And quite often the first thing that you're going to see or hear about, you're going to jump on that straight away. Oh, I must find out more. And you're interested, you want to know right now, because for anything in our business, if we can't make an informed decision, because we don't have all the facts, it tend to sort of dilute in our brain the importance and the urgency. And so something else will come up that's more important. And then something else will come up that says, oh, actually, you can do this in this way, which may or may not be a better thing. And then the person who you were going to contact hasn't got back to you, and you're like, oh, actually, yes, okay, thanks. I've sorted myself out, but, you know, thanks very much. That is most likely what's going to happen, because we don't just all keep notes in our head. We quite often dump them on bits of paper as well. Hands up who's got a corner of the desk which has got bits of paper on, and then forget to look
behind
at them.
him. He's got a wall.
Yeah, I actually have to cover mine with a cat so no one can see them. He's just there to hide the mess.
These are actually lovely letters from podcast people that have guests that have been on, but it was illustrative of, if you know what I mean. But some people's desks look like this.
Well, actually, at Funnelcraft, I even pointed out to everybody, when we looked at the desk, there was my son with his nice nice corner. There was Graham in the middle with a, you know, organized system, and there was mine at the end, and I don't know what the hell was going on there. It was just like there's everything there. I had 6 pairs of glasses on there at one point. It was like yeah, and it's not messy desk, messy mind. It's my mind's clearer because I dumped the mess, if that makes sense. There is a method behind it. It's not, you know, it's a strategy. No, it is. If I can actually dump, so I will write things on notes, but then I will forget to go and hunt for the note. So I've either got to keep in my head, hunt for the note. I mean, it just, having things automated, having things put into place really easily, really simply. We don't have to, you know, we don't want all that time. If you set up a calendar and somebody books a quick call with you, it's all synced up, so it's not going to book a call with them when you're busy. And so you jump on the quick call. In the meantime, you've given them information about what to expect from the call, what you can do. You may even be able to have sent them over, hey, go and look at this first, or have a little note at the bottom, you know, what was it specifically that you wanted to talk about? And if you don't also allow within your busy week, with your busy, some time that's free for people to be able to do that, jump on right now, rather than in next week or 2 weeks, as long as it's within the week, then they will book on. They will book on, have a chat, because it's at the forefront of their mind. And so that, you know, you want to find out as much as you can beforehand, and then you're both prepared when you come to the call, and it can make life a lot easier for what happens next.
A lot of this resonates. It's just perfect sort of timing. I've just been over at our head office for the last 3 days, and we've been talking about how we're implementing. We're not talking about, we're actually doing it. We're implementing a new CRM tool and they're going to be they've gone with HubSpots. What is the option they're going to go with? And I can see we had a slide on the screen with a funnel, and we've just spoken about all these sort of things that you've been talking about. Is how can you sort of compress or speed up that middle section and fully automate it so you can get from the top to the bottom a lot quicker and be a lot more effective. So everything you've just said resonates with everything we've just gone through. And I was running a few sort of scenarios in your mind. As a salesperson, you've always been through those sort of situations where things have got bogged down and stuck in the middle. And as you say, I think you said there, Kate, someone goes off and does something else because it's just got so messed. They've lost that direction with you, and you've then lost the opportunity because they've lost their direction. It needs to be quicker, smarter, and swifter to get from top to bottom, and a lot more sort of on point, focused, organized.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the beauty of sales, like you say, for sales calls, quite often a lot of people have sales calls for a program, a course, for a one-to-one, whatever it is that they're offering for service. And so the process I've just said works really well. And there's even more you can do after that. So if you've got the system set up right, then whilst you're on the call with them, let's just say they are interested, they really want to work with you, and they're keen to just sort of get going. You know, oh, I'll send you over a contract. Well, actually, you've just made a gap there and then. So if you have, you know, your core contacts or documents in the contracts, I mean, in a system, you can click on it, share screen, show it to them, work it all out, make sure it's fine. And then you can actually just click a button and it gets sent to their email. They can have a look through it. They can respond to it straight away there. They can sign it electronically. It gets put straight back into yours. And then as soon as they've done that, you can manually add a tag. Well, you can either manually add a tag if they've accepted or not, or they can be one automated, which then sends them out all the things that they need to get onboarded straight away as soon as they've got off the call, whilst they're all fired up. The amount of people I've had calls with, they want to do it there and then. They go, oh, great, I've got the afternoon. I can go and have a look. I can go and get stuck in. Brilliant. That's keen. And then you've got that, you know, it's about retention as well. It's not just about, how many people would you sign up automatically and automated and sign up on a call? Legally you have to give so many days for people to sort of, say, actually, it's not for me. But how many people don't like doing that because they think it's too salesy and don't want to say, well, actually, you do still have 14 days, with transparency to help make people feel more comfortable, and then have that follow up straight away afterwards where they can just go and get stuck in, that afterwards. And then it's about retention. It's not just about getting people and making sales. You want to keep those people in your world if they're the right people. You want to see them get results. I mean, the whole point of having your service is to help others, isn't it? Provide a service or a product. And so surely you want more people to get great results or experience, a good, feeling from having used that product, whatever it is, because that's all part of, then they can do a testimonials, the whole shebang of then of raising what you do, more awareness out there.
For me, one of the big mistakes that people make is that they focus on content first, or they focus on a mechanism first, and they don't actually focus on the customer journey first. So what the mistake that they're making there is that they will then continually come back to that particular piece of content or that particular mechanism. They go, well, why is that not performing? And you go, well, because you haven't worked out what the journey is and where that fits in and what that's trying to do within the journey. I had this conversation this week with a couple of guys who, have been in sales for years and are sales experts. But I needed to say to them, actually, I mean, we were talking around the podcast, and they were like, well, we're now we're debating. We did a beta piece, and they were debating as to where we go next with it. And I said, stop. It's got nothing to do with this podcast, right? Tell me where your client journey is. What's at the end of that? Where are we trying to get people to and whatever? And they were like,
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Crickets.
So let's start with that, shall we? Because ultimately, if you don't know where you're taking people, what are you producing any kind of content for? What are you doing it for? Unless you just want to do it for the hell of it, right?
Yeah.
If you just want to do it for the hell of it, then that's great, right?
Yeah.
Not a problem with that. In fact, actually, I would encourage everybody to just make a piece of content just for the sake of it, because they enjoy doing it. That's great. That's good. That's cathartic. But if you want to make money out of it, then you need to know where it fits in that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't understand where it fits in the journey, then where are you going with it? And then, as I say, in terms of mechanism, don't just rely on a mechanism, right? And the reason you shouldn't ever just rely on a mechanism or a point in that funnel where people come in is because people are all different.
Exactly.
So if you go to a page, right? If your entire thing is about, oh, I've got to get people over here, and then from here I'm going to take them on this journey, and then through that journey they're going to get to here, right? You're going to, if it's like a 20-stage process, right, and you're forcing everybody to go through a 20-stage process, you're going to lose the people that just want to go there and just buy it.
Yes.
Right. So for some people, they will just want to buy.
They do. No, they do.
They literally just want to go there and be told, you're making the right decision today. Well done, you've already made this decision. You're a good person for making this decision. This is the perfect decision for you. Press this button. You've done it. You've made the decision. Well done. We're going to celebrate that now by giving you a little bit extra because you made that decision today. Boom.
Yeah.
And then they've done it. They've bought it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to make any more friction there, but other people are going to be like, I don't trust.
Yeah.
So I need to build trust. And for those people, you've got to take them through a few things that are going to build their trust in order for them to then press the button and the alarms go off, etc. So having just one mechanism out there, one route in, one way of doing it is going to work for some people. It's not going to work for everybody,
Yeah.
And you get the amount of people you see where I think they build their sales journey around them.
They do.
Yeah.
Actually,
not around the people that are out there. Go on, say something about it.
Well, this is the thing, is that everybody's in a different stage, aren't there? I mean, there's the typical traditional marketing, theories and methods. AIDA, for example. You have to have awareness. There's people who have suddenly thought, right, I've got this problem. I know I need to go and find somewhere to go and search it. Now that's the most common one, right? So we put out loads of content to attract people who know that they have a problem. Half of the time, people don't know that they have a problem. And the content you put out there is to highlight that and make awareness of it. Unfortunately, a lot of that content may not work because we don't take into consideration where that person is in their life right now, to suddenly think, well, because if they're there, happy going along, or they may have an issue, for them to connect what's going wrong with your problem, you are quite often using information and words that are a bit techie or jargony or industry related. And exactly like you said to start with, Graham, if I'm sitting here and I don't know what I don't know that it relates to me. I don't know how. It's not even made clear. So that type of content quite often just falls by the wayside. And yet it's really crucial, really crucial. And then there's the other content where once people have got people into their world, they also forget that they're in their world, and they're then focusing more on bringing in new people. So everybody's at a different phase. And there are the objections. Now, if you're in sales, Stephen, I'm sure you know the training, the old-fashioned, well, are you green, blue, red, or yellow? What are the colours? And all the old, years ago. Okay, confession time. I sold double glazing. I've said it.
That's a big confession.
I did so well out of it as well. And I didn't. And
can
I made
see
him all
right through
say,
you now.
yeah,
Boom.
yeah. Oh gosh.
Ah.
Oh dear. Yeah. So it's yeah, and it's once.
Did you have a
people have
draft
understood it.
contract for that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I had to go and knock on a lot of doors as well. So that was at one point at a team, and and that's exactly what it's like, isn't it? It's the old-fashioned salesy things of people don't want to be too salesy. People are focusing more on getting the sale or the words or the language, and you get caught up in everything. You just get caught up in who you are, what you do, your world. You forget that when you move on, let's just say that if you are somebody who's going to have growth and development personally and within your business, hopefully you are, you will move on to different phases. You better offer different services. You'll better reach different demographics, different audiences. Okay. And so that's where people start to fall down as well, because they, like Graham said, they think that one size fits all for the customer journey, and it just doesn't. And do you know, one of the worst things I find is that when someone has emailed me after I've signed up for something and they've asked me to then sign up for it, or it's like, what? I've got this already. And right there and then I feel, and I've got a very good gauge for you here. It's really technical, very highly technical gauge. So I will try and explain it. Okay. When my daughter was 3 and she was in nursery school, they used to sit them all down in circle time. And as parents, we were allowed in every now and again to join in. And what they had was a little soft round ball. And then I had a prickly one, like a cold hot with a little rubber on with little spikes on it. Not obviously to hurt the 3-year-olds. Let me just say, I wasn't that nursery. Just want to put that out there.
Wasn't the end of a mace.
Yeah. More that's the confession we don't need. And so what I do, everybody would get a chance. They go, are you feeling warm and fuzzy, or are you feeling cold and prickly? And you don't have to say why. And they didn't at 3. It was just like they might say something or not, but it would just give a gauge. And it was really good. And so that's my technical theory. When people come into your world, they're right in the middle. When people they're in the middle, and you want them to sort of head towards the warm and fuzzies, obviously. And each little glitch fires them back down to being cold and prickly. And things like that, you suddenly just feel, you don't feel as valued. That's going to make you just drop down a notch in how you see the person who you've signed up with, or the company or the business. And it also it puts in doubts in our mind, little tiny ones that just sit there, because what the brain does, it starts looking for things that are familiar, doesn't it? So as soon as one little thing glitches and then something else happens, you're like, oh, this is getting bad. And yet it might not. They might be totally independent, but your brain starts looking out for more. And quite frankly, sometimes it will find more on purpose. Whereas when you're feeling all positive, you go, oh, what else can we do? What else can we do? You'll notice the more positive things, don't you? So it's from a psychological point of view as how our brains work, tap into that, because you only have to put somebody with a tiny doubt, and somebody just moans to something. Oh yeah, no, they sent me an email. Oh yeah, they did that too. And right there and then there's a conversation going on about you, which is not very good.
A lot of this, Graham, it instantly starts resonating with the word of ergonomics. There's lots of things Kate was saying that were instantly just sort of things going off in my head that I was thinking, and a lot of it, particularly around the journey. And if you relate it to, one of the challenges we come across and our partners come across is, where are different organisations, as in end users, where are they in their journey towards ergonomics? Because there are people, and I think something you said there, Kate, it just sort of instantly, it sort of light bulb moment, but some people just know they need something, and they know they need to go and buy it, and they just want a little bit of advice and a little gentle bit of guidance and push, and they've done it, whether they buy from you or not, whatever, they've made that quick decision. But on the flip side, there's lots of organizations where they're still months and months, years and years going round and round and round and not making a decision. So you've got to have that sort of hybrid flex approach when you're a salesperson to those different people. There's some people who you just almost hold. think of it as a 100-meter race. There's some people you're holding their hand over the last 5 meters because they've done all the hard work and they just want to get over that line. But there's other people are struggling to get in the starting blocks because they're just not sure. And they maybe get 30 meters along and they go back and they stop. And I think it really relates to the whole world of ergonomics, what you've just been talking about.
Can I just talk very briefly in here about storytelling as well? Because I think this is an incredibly important part of this, which is, and I see this done incredibly badly, actually, in the ergonomics sector. Not by everybody, but by a number of people, right? Which is that you're talking about, in the main, products that can actually help people feel something.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And yet, right? And yet, in some ways, in some mediums, that's told as a story. So I think sometimes people will put out maybe more than they would have done 10 years ago, where it was all rubbish. But the people might use videos to tell stories now, or tell, like, you know, how someone might actually feel if that happens. But then when you get written literature or you get an email out or whatever, it's still sales speak. It's still immediately like, buy this,
features and benefits,
whatever, as opposed to,
this is how it'll make you feel, this is what it'll do for you, this is what it's
not even that. No. This is where you miss, this is where people miss the story element of it, right? It's like, you know, you might do a video where it's like, John feels tired every day, his wife is nagging at him about his bad back, and you know, and it tells, like, the children are climbing on him at night and he's climbing up the wall, you know, and there's a story being told, right? Which brings you in, because it's a story, because we all like stories. That's why we all gravitate towards stories.
That's where you can get people to relate to it, because they then start recognizing the story and thinking, that's me, or that's my wife, or that's my friend, and then you just pulled in.
And that's what I'm saying. So we're seeing more where, like, people may tell more of a story in a video bit, but then as soon as the email goes out, it's like, dear customer, bullet point, as opposed to, right? And if anyone wants to go and read a great example, for example, of storytelling in copy, go and read something like Oatly, you know, the drink, right? It's all story. It's all story. Yeah. It's a drink made of oats, right? It's oat milk, right? But it's not oat milk. It's a story, and it's witty, and it's amusing, and you want to read the next thing that's coming next month and whatever. And there's another thing. If you can actually build anticipation from your audience, and they want the next piece of email that comes out from you, or you can build that they want more of your material, right? See what Audi have done with Kevin the carrot. Right? It's a carrot, but it's not.
It's not. It's Kevin the carrot.
It's Kevin the carrot, and Kevin has a personality. Kevin's a little bit cheeky, a little bit naughty. Kevin's a bit like the bad elf as well, isn't he? Right? He kind of plays into that at Christmas time, whatever. Do you know how well they've done with that? Other supermarkets are available, of course.
Of course.
It's so well, right? That last year, like, national newspapers were running stories about how many people in the UK have bought every single piece of Audi-based Kevin the Carrot merchandise there is. Right?
I'm looking at Kate, and I'm thinking, is she going to produce a piece of that merch off her desk?
No, but I'll tell you what I do have is a big bundle of meerkats, and I'm not saying anymore.
There you go. But they had photos of people literally festooned with all of these Kevin and associated other parsnips and whatever, right? And it showed the amazing customer journey buy-in that they created, that you know, allegiance to brand, right? Once you've done that, you don't have to do anything else. Bruce Dickinson, I shall mention Sir Bruce.
AC/DC? No,
Iron Maiden.
Oh my God.
Of
I don't know
Iron
what to say.
Maiden.
I knew it was one of the two.
He does after dinner speeches, because he has not only is
He has a lot to say.
he's got a lot to say. Not only has he is he the front man of one of the most successful metal bands of all time, right? But he's also run some other very successful businesses. All right. And one of the things that he talks about in his after dinner speeches is you do not want customers. Right?
Okay.
You don't want customers. As Bakker Alkhuizen, as for anyone that's listening, for any of your businesses out there, you don't want customers.
You don't want them. We don't want customers.
No. Do you know what you want?
Well, a house with an indoor pool would be a good start. But
A house with an indoor pool and a tattoo of a snake up your arm. No, it's not what you want.
Go on.
What you want is you want fans.
Oh, do you know what? I wanted to say fans, but after making that faux pas with the band of Bruce Dickinson, I thought I can't make two mistakes in the space of 2 minutes. I should have written it down and then held up the bit of paper.
And you know why he says that? He says the reason you want fans is because fans go with you for the journey.
They do.
Right?
Yeah.
Fans allow you to make mistakes as well along the way, because once you've committed someone over to being a fan, not just a customer, when the odd thing goes wrong and whatever, actually, do you know what they do? They don't just go, oh, I'm going over there, I'm not using them anymore. They tell you because they care.
The customer,
they care about.
It could be a bit transactional, couldn't it? A customer, you think of transaction, a single transaction that can be turned on and turned off. A fan, as you say, is going to be this, and I'm doing this, and I'm going, and they're almost plotting months and months and years in advance how they're going to support you. The customer is that one individual transaction that may not repeat ever again.
Yeah,
that's a really good definition. Really good.
You want people to go, I love what this business does. I love their products and services. I can't wait to see what they do next. Right? I want to be involved in what they do next, so that I feel like I've got a part to play in all of that.
Yeah.
And therefore, when it happens, it's not a complete surprise to me, because I've been involved in the process, because I wanted to be involved in the process. And then, of course, because I've been involved in the process, I'm going to buy into the process as well, because I wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
That music analogy is really good. I like that music analogy, because I then start think about things. Is you think about, you just said there about Iron Maiden. If a fan went and they had, and I'm sure it probably never happened, if they had a bad gig, a bad night, they didn't perform, a customer the next time may not choose to go there. So but a fan
see Justin Bieber instead.
A fan goes again and again, don't they? And it could be like with a company that makes, let's put it down to a product. I'm not saying what we do. Put down anyone who makes something. A fan, a customer. People will make products that aren't successful. That will just happen. Every company will bring something out that isn't successful. But the fan sees past that and comes back for the next and the next and the next. The customer judges on that one single thing, and 90-degree moves over there instead.
So let's go back.
That's the top of the funnel, isn't it? That's the top of the funnel.
Yes.
And
so back to the funnel. Let's go back to the funnel. Right?
Back to the funnel of the customer journey. Because the first email, if you signed up for my list, for example, the first email you get from me has a picture of me madly on a GIF going, right?
Love it.
Because the whole point of when people come into your world is you want to segment them. You want to check. And they want to check, are they the person that should be in my world? Maybe they need somebody else, or maybe you don't want them. You don't like them. Not that we don't know them, but maybe they actually, what you have isn't ideal for them. Now you want them, it could be ideal for somebody else. So when people first come into my world, the first set of emails they get from me, I don't sell anything at all. I don't even talk about sales. I just the strategy that I have for that is completely different. I use a lot of rock analogies in there as well, and I use those to helpfully build up a picture of me, the business, what I'm doing. Now, ideally, if that's not right for them, they will unsubscribe during that time. And that's why people get hung up on, oh my God, they said they've signed up for this and now they've unsubscribed. You know what? Good. Phew. Because they're either just freebie hunters if you offer a freebie, or you're not for them. Brilliant. Now, there's two really great things about that. Number one, you don't want to keep firing out emails. It can be costly to people that aren't going to open them and don't really want your stuff. That's a waste of time, and it can be, costly as well. And number two, it means that you're moving people who are more interested through to the next stage, and then you can do the process again. That you should have different stages along the way. And then depending on how you've set up the funnel with the clicks, the automations and things like that, you can fire them off in different directions. So people are actually getting information that they really need and want if you have a range of different things. One of the other things I see quite often is when people have a freebie, all sorts of different ones they have. People sign up, they get that. And the very next email after they've got it is, how did you get on with it? Was it good? Did you do this? I wanted to tell you about the next thing that I've got for you to buy and all that. And then the next one and the next one. And you're just chucked, like plonked straight into this. You've got my freebie. I'm now going to pursue you until you buy from me type of approach, which doesn't work, Sorry, because it doesn't. Some people, but mostly that doesn't work. People will unsubscribe. And what that's done is it's actually created a thing where people are now expecting that. They expect that when they sign up for a freebie of some sort, they will unsubscribe immediately. They don't even know you. And yet they're already unsubscribing because they are expecting an onslaught of sales. Now that's really that's something we have to shift. We have to shift that because we don't, that's where it's important with the bits of content, like Graham said, to make people really interested in what you do, to help segment them out even before you send them over to the list. Everyone's banging on about the list. It's crucial. It really is. But get the right people over there for a start, because that's going to help them. It's also going to help you. That's the very beginning of that customer journey. I've got 50 people sign up for my webinar. Great. How many show up? Oh, well, because there's replays, we had 8 on the call. Oh, okay. And how many have downloaded and watched the replays? Well, not that many. Yeah. You know what? Quite often people just don't. Who's got time to do that? And also, if you offer a replay, you're just saying to people, well, you don't have to turn up now. You can just watch the replay.
Don't bother.
Yeah. So there's little things like that you would say, well, actually, you can only have the replay if you've been in the call or you've listened. There is nothing, you'd have to sign up for another one if you want to do it, and only offer. There's tiny little things like that. And you're still going to get criticism. Oh, well, that's not fair. We can't all get access to it. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was meant to actually please everyone in the world.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I'll do better.
I'm just going to speak into that for a minute. I'd love some people out there in the ergonomics world to just think about this for a minute. One area as well where you're probably not necessarily doing it right is after you've initially sold something to somebody as well, right? Little tip in sales, right? The easiest person to sell to is the person that's already bought, right? The easiest person to convert into a fan is somebody that's already bought. The easiest person to sell you to somebody else is somebody that's already bought, right? So if you can convert customers into fans who will then talk about you to other people, they will help you get more customers.
So let's not have a list. Let's have a fan base.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's rename it.
So here's one for you.
Yes.
Right. You've sold a mouse to people, not the furry kind with a tail that requires food, but a computer mouse to people. You might just think that's the tip of the iceberg. Now I'm going to Kate says, now I'm going to close in. I'm going to sell them a chair and a desk, and then I'm going to sell them a whole office, and then I'm going to get them to buy everything from me. I'm going to take over the world. Or, and you're tempted, as Kate said, to go in and go, thank you for buying that mouse for me. How did we do? No, don't do that as well, because they're going to get really, really annoyed. Alternatively, what you can do is you can continue to add value. They've bought the mouse, but maybe there's some things they don't know that they can do with their mouse. Tell them the things that they can do with their mouse that they didn't know that they could do with their mouse. They'll be amazed. Now they've bought a mouse, you're telling them the things that you can do with a mouse, right? Next month, tell them more things they can do with their mouse. Maybe even invite them to a club of people that all love their mouse. Build a community around the mouse, right? Suddenly what you've got is you've got people that, all they did was buy a mouse from you. But now you've shown them the magic of the mouse, right? You've taken them on this wonderful journey. At some point along that journey, then they will start talking to other people about just how amazing it was when they bought this mouse from you, right? At that point, they will then be ready for you to then start going, do you know what goes with a mouse?
Yeah.
Right? This. They will probably, if you then at that point show them something on the screen that go, mouse people of the world, unite and take over. They will maybe give you a review, right? But only at that point then, not straight after they've bought it, right? And that's the kind of journey that people should be thinking of taking on. Now, what people are going to say is this is an awful lot of work and it's all very hard work and whatever, but it's not, because if you speak to someone like Kate and she helps you automate a lot of those processes, guess what? You've then got time to focus on the great stuff that you can give people as value that goes into those processes that makes that process great.
Yeah, absolutely. And quite often people have their own teams who know how to use all the tech stuff they have, because we all use different platforms. I have my preferred platforms. But what they're missing is someone who understands the overview of the customer journey. So quite often I've been asked to, give some assistance and pointers to people, and they said, can you do this? And I said, no, actually, I won't do it for you because I don't like that system. However, here's what your people need to do. And I find that's quite often better because it takes the pressure off, having to do it for them there and then and get totally involved. It's better to take a position to step back. But if they don't have it, this also identifies when their team don't know how to do the simple things I'm suggesting. So it also raises those things to whoever I'm talking to within their team, and therefore they can put in training. How does that work? It's not just about getting the thing set up. There's a lot more behind it, and also people can feel usurped. Oh, they brought somebody else in to do this, but that's my job, and that's also what I prefer not to do. I don't want to do that either. So knowing what the systems are and saying, okay, this is how we want it to look. What are the capabilities and functions within the systems that you have? Let's see how that can work. If you can't, then we'll find a workaround. There's always a workaround. And it doesn't always involve having to buy another platform. Sometimes, if you want growth, it does. It means to say, right, well, where are we taking our business? What do we need to do? Do we need to actually do a big shift over? Now that can, people say, I only wanted this little funnel done. It's like, okay, that's absolutely great. Let's do that. And it can automate and save you time. It'll be better for the customer journey. But where is your business headed? Where are you going? Do your systems and processes have the capacity to promote what it is you do? I'll give you an example of seeing, there was a big trend, and people still do this, of people using Google Docs as a sales page. I sold, 50,000. I made 50,000 through a Google Doc because I didn't have a sales page. Proves that you can do it. Okay, yeah, but people don't realize and forget that person had a fan base. right? Anyway, and that was promoting that thing to the people within that fan base. So those things sort of go unnoticed, and you're just seeing the gloss. And also, you are making all this money and what have you. Why are you trying to prove a point? I actually look behind that. Now, this is just me being completely upfront and judgmental. I'm going to just say it now, right? Are you too lazy? Can you not be bothered? Do you not have a team to just make things look nicer and easier? Because not everybody can manage and cope with Google Docs. You're not offering any other way for anybody else to interact and find out more and do things. There's just an assumption on that Google Doc. Take it or leave it. Fine. Now, on one hand, those are the customers that person wants. They're quite within their rights to do that. And they've set that up, and that is their strategy. But when you're not at that phase yet, or you're not at that level of growth yet, trying to adopt a strategy that someone is using that's making, lots and lots of K through different things they use, you can't use necessarily the same strategy for where you are in your business. It doesn't work, does it?
It always amazes me, Kate, when you see these things, because it's mind-blowing to me that people don't see through it and go,
yeah, but they don't know what they don't know.
I liked that, and I thought that was brilliant, and that their strategy is they got me to look at that because it seems like a lazy answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
The quick fix. We all want a quick fix.
Anybody that puts something out there that you can make $1 million tomorrow just by using this word.
Yeah.
And people are like, really?
Yeah.
$1 million, one word. And then, the clue is in, as you follow through, it goes, they're telling you something, and then they haven't told you the word yet. Of course, it's going to be a long time before they tell you the word, isn't it? Because you're in their funnel now, and you're going there, and there's a lot of those pseudo sales strategies out there as well that are just trying to funnel you in, right?
And drive me bonkers, because at the end of the day, the majority of us do not work like that we do not operate. And we look towards people who have done things before because we want to learn. We like people's style. We become fans. But the thing is, it's not the be all and end all. What they're showing and displaying and what they're doing is that they're showing what has worked for them and what will work for lots and lots of people. But when you start feeling, well, I haven't done this hasn't worked for me, and it's switched around saying, oh, but have you tried that? Oh, but have you tried that? As if it's your fault because you haven't put in enough effort, grinds my gears, because that is one of the worst parts of marketing and that I've ever seen. It's not that you don't want to buy it, it's your money mindset. It's like, hang on a minute. Oh, okay. So actually, this whole big trend of like people adding on a comment like, oh, you can get a loan from PayPal. Oh, you can do this to buy my product. People are sort of seeing through that quite a lot. But there are many, many people out there who still don't realize they're in a group, they've joined it, they've met lovely, lovely people, they're all raving about it, and yet actually it's not working for them. Now, I feel that anyway with my ADHD brain. I know that I think differently from others. It took me many, many years to get to that realization. It actually wasn't, well, it was me in a way, but it was also the others for not providing the service in a way that I could engage with it and get results. So, until I sort of realized I can only do things this way, I would sometimes blame myself or just blame them, go, oh, well, they're rubbish, it doesn't work. I come up with some excuse, and then somebody would say, well, you've just made excuses. It's like this never-ending loop of it's all down to you. No, as business owners, we have a duty to make it very clear to people. And, going back to double glazing, we need to be transparent. Right. So tell people why this business, why is what I have not for you? Because let's not waste time here. I always say you can people want a call with me. I'll have a call with you. Let me be upfront. Right. I may not be able to help you. And if I don't, I'll try and fire you over to somebody I know, like, and trust. And I have a really good network of people I do. Again, may not be for you, but it's a good start, because at least you're not going to get scammed or ripped off, and they'll be honest. And if I can help, this is how it would work and how it would look like. And then choice is yours. And just being open and honest, because what I do is not for everyone. I used to, I could help everyone as long as they had the correct way of thinking that suits my ideal client. And, thankfully, not everyone does, because it would be a very boring world if we were all the same, quite frankly.
There we go. It's been a great conversation today.
Yeah, brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, Steve. Yeah, some great stuff in here.
I think we should call the episode on the website "Funnels and Fans." I think that's the name of
Perfect.
the show.
Funnels and
Fans. With like every show has to have funnels and fans.
Yeah,
funnels and fans.
There we
go.
go.
As long as we keep the word only out of that, it'll be all right. Cool. Yeah. There we go.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's been fun. Fun with funnels and fans.
What's been really heartening as well is just watching the amount of viewers going up as we've been talking as well. There's been quite a lot of people watching. If you've been watching and you've been affected in any way by today's conversation, there'll be a helpline now, which will be my mobile number. You can phone me and we'll talk funnels, and I can put you on to Kate. I should be able to help you further as well. If it's, in all seriousness, if you're a business out there and you've been watching this today, you're involved in the well-being area, etc., and you're thinking, do you know what? We are missing a trick. We are leaking at some point. We're
leaky buckets. We haven't touched on them, have we?
We're losing clients at this point. Do honestly get in touch, because it might just be a few extra things that we need to have a look at within your business in order to make a big difference. And thank you as well, Kate, for I'm going to have a shameless plug in here as well before we go, for mentioning the fact that what you do is very much, you do need to find out about that person's business and make it tailored to that person's business. It's one of the reasons why I recently wrote, along with Marion Mills, the LinkedIn sales training course that we've started putting out, because I just felt there were so many people training on LinkedIn out there who are telling people how to do it for them. And the problem with that is that doesn't mean that you're not empowering the people that you have in to train to how to do it themselves for their particular business. And that's really, really important. Every single one of you out there that's got a different business, even if you're all in the same game, if you're all selling ergonomic products or whatever, you'll still do it differently. There'll be still something, a flavor of you that makes you different and attracts you to your fan base, your audience out there. It's so important that, when you build this stuff, that it actually says something of you and your story and why you're doing it, right? And what you do for people, not just what the products do, because otherwise you're selling against yourself, which is horrible, really horrible. That's been another fantastic show. We will be back at the same time, same place next week with another one of these. If you're seeing Pudsey Bear at all out and about, wherever you go today, whether it's at school or as I once did, 1 year I got involved with children in need, and I had to spend the whole day on the Newcastle Metro with Pudsey Bear. Which was a joy.
I'm not surprised. In fact, if anybody else had told me that story, I'd have gone, "You sure you're not Graham?"
Yeah.
Which was a joy and a pleasure. But if you see anybody that's out there collecting for children in need today, spend a second to put a penny in the bucket.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's an important cause. And we'll be back next week. Until then, bye for now.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.